Remember the late 90s, the thrill of going to a video store, the smell of popcorn, and the frustration of late fees? One company saw that frustration not as a problem, but as an opportunity. This is the story of how Netflix went from mailing DVDs in red envelopes to fundamentally reshaping how the entire world consumes entertainment. Back in 1997, Reed Hastings reportedly got hit with a $40 late fee for the movie Apollo 13. That painful moment sparked a revolutionary idea. What if you could rent movies like a gym membership? No due dates, no late fees, just a flat monthly subscription. This was the birth of Netflix, a simple yet brilliant DVD by mail service. In its early days, Netflix wasn't a guaranteed success. They were up against Blockbuster, a behemoth with thousands of stores and a massive market share. In fact, in the year 2000, Netflix even offered to be acquired by Blockbuster for $50 million. Blockbuster laughed them out of the room. It was a billion-dollar mistake that would go down in business history. While Blockbuster was focused on its brick-and-mortar empire, Netflix was playing a different game. They were building a powerful asset: data. They knew which movies you rented, what you rated them, and how long you kept them. This wasn't just customer information. It was the foundation of their future. They were mastering logistics, creating a highly efficient system to ship millions of DVDs across the country. This operational excellence was their first moat. The real genius of Netflix, however, was its strategic foresight. Reed Hastings and his team saw the future wasn't in physical media. They knew the internet was the next frontier. As early as 2007, while their DVD business was still booming, they launched their Watch Now streaming service. Initially, the streaming library was small and the quality wasn't great. Many people saw it as a minor add-on, a gimmick. But Netflix was planting a seed. They understood the power of digital disruption. Instead of waiting for another company to make their DVD business obsolete, they chose to disrupt themselves. This is a critical lesson for any business. If you don't cannibalize your own success, someone else will. The transition wasn't smooth. The pivotal moment, and perhaps their biggest public failure, came in 2011. Netflix announced it was splitting its business into two. The existing DVD service would be rebranded as Quickster, while Netflix would become a streaming-only platform. This meant customers who wanted both would need to separate subscriptions at a higher price. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Customers felt betrayed. The company's stock price plummeted by over 75%. It looked like a catastrophic error. Quickster became a textbook example of how not to manage a strategic pivot. It was a failure in communication and customer understanding. But here's where Netflix showed its resilience. They listened. They quickly scrapped the Quickster plan, apologized to their customers, and reintegrated the services. They took the hit, learned a painful lesson, and refocused with even greater intensity on streaming. This failure, as damaging as it was, forced them to double down on the future they envisioned. With their focus now squarely on streaming, Netflix unleashed its secret weapon: data-driven content creation. They had years of information on what millions of people loved to watch. They knew which actors, directors, and genres were popular in which regions. So, in 2013, they made a massive bet. They committed $100 million for 2 seasons of a show called House of Cards, without even seeing a pilot. Why? The data told them it would be a hit. They knew that users who enjoyed the original British version of the show also loved movies directed by David Fincher and starring Kevin Spacey. It was a calculated risk, backed by an algorithm. The success of House of Cards was the shot heard round the world. Netflix was no longer just a distributor of content, it was a creator of culture. This move transformed them from a tech company into a full-fledged studio, a new kind of Hollywood powerhouse. They followed up with hits like Orange Is the New Black and Stranger Things, each one reinforcing their model. They weren't just guessing what audiences wanted, They were using data to engineer hits. They used this data for everything, from greenlighting projects to creating dozens of different promotional images for the same show, A/B testing them to see which one a specific user was most likely to click on. This hyper-personalization is the core of the Netflix experience. The platform you see is completely different from the one I see. The recommendations, the order of titles, even the artwork is tailored to your unique viewing history. This creates a powerful feedback loop. The more you watch, the better the recommendations get, and the more you want to watch. It's a key reason why we spend hours binge-watching. Of course, their dominance didn't go unchallenged. Disney, Apple, Amazon, and Warner Brothers all launched their own streaming services, leading to the streaming wars. Content that was once on Netflix was pulled back to its original owners, but Netflix had a massive head start. They had the global subscriber base, the brand recognition, and the deep-seated culture of innovation. Their strategy shifted from licensing content to owning it. They started spending billions of dollars a year on Netflix originals. This was a defensive move to ensure they would never be held hostage by other studios, and an offensive one to create a library of exclusive content that you couldn't get anywhere else. They also expanded aggressively into international markets, producing local language content like La Casa de Papel from Spain and Squid Game from South Korea, which became global phenomena. This global local strategy turned cultural specific stories into worldwide hits. So what can we learn from the Netflix journey? First, the importance of strategic foresight. Always look 5 to 10 years ahead and don't be afraid to invest in a future that might make your current business model obsolete. Second, embrace data. Data isn't just for reports. It's a strategic asset that can guide every decision, from logistics and marketing to multi-million-dollar content investments. Third, don't be afraid to fail, but fail fast and learn faster. The Quickster disaster could have sunk the company, but they recovered because they listened, adapted, and didn't let one mistake derail their long-term vision. And finally, build a culture of innovation. From its subscription model to its streaming technology and data-driven content, Netflix has always been about asking what's next. The story of Netflix is a masterclass in business transformation. It's a journey from mailing physical objects in red envelopes to beaming digital stories into hundreds of millions of homes. They didn't just survive the disruption of their industry, they were the ones who caused it. And that is why, when you think of modern entertainment, you think of Netflix. Thanks for watching. If you found this breakdown insightful, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the businesses that are shaping our world. See you in the next one.